Welcome back, folks, to the Get a Grip on Lighting podcast. And welcome, because today we're going to do a little nail talk. We have Chad Palmer, the president and CEO of Energyficient Systems, Inc., a lighting distributor with a national footprint serving the ESCO market, and Energyficient Products, LLC, a manufacturer of lighting and electrical products for the agricultural industry. Energyficient has grown from a startup lighting distributor 12 years ago to 13 employees and over 10 million in annual sales. That means he's paying the highest category of nailed membership. That's right. You gotta check the right box, buddy. Energy efficient products started with an idea in 2014, has become a manufacturer of electrical products made for those who work in and build barns. Both companies surviving through the pandemic and continue to grow. Amen, brother. Revealing possibilities in lighting, the culture at Energy Efficient builds on Chad's passion for finding energy savings and solutions in lighting that others don't. He is really satisfied with the status quo and insists on continuous improvement in quality, process, and knowledge. Sounds like a nailed member to me, buddy. A reality TV star? Well, he doesn't compare to Greg and I. But yes, Chad had the unique opportunity to promote his hometown, Burlington, Iowa, and his home state, Burlington, Iowa, in the Football Run Season 11, a reality TV show where he and Burlington's mayor traveled over 2,000 miles for 8 days, showcasing small towns and unique destinations. Check it out on Amazon Prime. That's right. Weekends, you can find Chad in his boat on the lake of the Ozarks. I think there's a show about that, too. Are you into that Ozark stuff, like murdering and burying people? Hopefully not.
Sure.
But when the weather doesn't cooperate, he is the ultimate do-it-yourselfer, enjoys golfing and hunting. And before we talk to Chad, Greg, Eric, we got to go to KEYSTONETECH.com. That's KeystoneTech.com. The easy, folks. The big easy.
That's right. And when we talk easy, it is, because here's what I did today. I did a couple proposals and quotes, and I get to the point of, okay, what color do they want? You know what? It doesn't matter anymore because it's selectable. Just get them the fixture, let them pick the color, and move on. Keystone
You know what?
does it for you.
You know what's funny? We were looking at a Keystone fixture just today, and I'm saying this, and this is not a lie. I'm just going to tell you. We're up on the desk, and we had ripped the whole fixture apart, and it was color selectable. And then on the driver plate or something, my employee pointed out like where on the circuit board was 27, 30, 35K. We could see it on the circuit board. It was with a Keystone fixture. So got to check out the Big Easy, Light Made Easy, KeystoneTech.com, and of course the National Association of Innovative Lighting Distributors. That's NALD.org. You know what, Greg? Where lighting means business, buddy. That's the real tagline of Nailed. From when I started in Nailed, where lighting means business. Chad Palmer, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks, guys.
No problem.
So, Chad, let's dive into your background. I mean, we got some biography there from you about the reality show and all that. It was called Fireball, not Football Run. But anyways.
Yeah, Fireball Run.
Yeah, just making stuff up. So wanted to find out a little bit about your background. So 12 years ago is when you started in lighting, or you started your company?
That's when we started Energyficient. I actually started in lighting in 1988 and sold for a small guy here in town, in my hometown in Burlington, Iowa. The company's name back then was called Ray, and Ray has passed since, but he was an old maintenance engineering salesperson who ventured off on his own and started selling lighting. And it was back when you only had maybe a few hundred things that you sold. There really weren't that many light bulbs to choose from back then.
So was that your background? Yeah. Did you come in with that same maintenance engineering philosophy?
Well, that was what that company did, and I learned the administrative side of the business from them. So starting in the warehouse and, pulling orders and understanding what things were, and eventually going to purchasing and customer service and sales management, did all of that. And then once we moved to sales management was when the Minnesota firm bought us, and then we started working in a different way and doing more. That was when I switched to national sales manager and did that for almost 15 years. But
what company was that? Sorry, Minnesota.
I just prefer to refer to them as my former employer.
Got it.
Is a better way to say that.
Well, it's interesting. It's interesting, the maintenance engineering angle in an inflationary time. In an inflationary time when costs are going up and LED light fixtures are failing like crazy, maintenance engineering might be pretty valuable, actually. That
Well, and you
idea,
think,
that idea,
and the
like
guys
just
that
that
went
idea.
with them were the Duratest people.
Sure.
So
Duratest, yeah.
Duratest Lighting and Maintenance Engineering. So, and then there was another company called
It's another
Superior
long
that was
life guy
similar.
coming in hot.
Yeah,
Long life.
yeah.
Yeah. People want reliable
We
lights,
sold,
buddy. Yep.
yep, we sold the long life stuff. We sold things that cost more than the normal things, and we're successful in doing that. So when you learn how to sell things based on the financial case and having to actually sell the product instead of just deliver it, it's a good way to cut your teeth in sales. It helps you hone your skills.
Yeah, I got a problem with this podcast, Chad.
Why is that?
Like you're giving people the secret.
Yeah.
Like this is the
No
secret.
secret recipe stuff.
Yeah, but I mean, at the end of the day, it's like we're kind of entering an age of Duro test with maintenance. It's like, yeah, this is gonna last a really long time. You pay me more, I'll make sure it lasts a really long time with a warranty of some kind. Like the warranty's
Right.
solid. And back in the old days, when you used to sell a tube, people would sell a tube for $25. You'd say it's warranted for 5 years. Well, if you buy a 4-foot tube for me for $25, I'll come and replace it 3 times too in 10
Yeah.
years. Like that's
Right.
the market we came from. But now it's like there's a lot of knowledge in lighting that's missing, and people want that assurance. And I think there's a huge opportunity here, Chad, with what you're talking about.
I agree. Is that I think lighting distributors right now are probably more valuable than they've ever been because there is such a huge amount of lighting out there and ways to get hurt. If you make the wrong mistake. I always got a kick out of you're dealing with an industrial client who says, "Yeah, our maintenance team's handling that." And I said, "You really are going to trust the engineering behind $1,000 light fixture to someone who has no knowledge of lighting? It doesn't make much sense." So get us involved. Let us help you navigate that, help you choose those things, and take some responsibility for helping you choose the right product the first time instead of spending a couple $1,000 trying to figure it out on your own. Let's get it
What
right
a
the first time.
Yeah, what a great
Well,
phrase for 2022. The wrong mistake. Listen, you made mistakes, but this is the wrong one to make.
You're right. I'm glad I could make you
so
happy.
there you go. So Chad, you
I'll
guys
be
have
Michael's
you've been at
muse
it
from
for
now on, Greg.
right. So you've been at it for 10 years, and your company has
Yeah, this is our 12th year this year. Yeah.
12 years. Okay, and all
And
in Burlington, Iowa.
yeah, we're headquartered here in Burlington, although we do business all over the United States. And we found, we started off in the commercial industrial market, selling projects to, like John Deere and, oh gosh, just the heavy industrial. The very first project we did as a company was in a bakery here in town where they had 9 conveyor lines cooking cookies, and we had to change all the lighting in that facility without interrupting any of their production lines. So being able to design that, engineer it, come up with a plan that makes the payback scenario that they were looking for, which always seems to be 1 year or less. It doesn't really matter who you're talking to, at least back then. And then we had to coordinate that with a local contractor to get it installed and make sure that everything went off without a hitch. But that's where we started, and we realized, right, it didn't take us long to realize that those projects, as great as they were when they came, it took an extremely long period of time to convert to a sale. And during that time, you would lose the people you had connections with. All your network would end up changing because those people are constantly moving around. So that was what made us just keep looking around for the next thing. Where would people really appreciate what it is that we bring to the table? And for us, that worked out to be the ESCO market.
So
Okay, so Greg, I'm going to leave this podcast and I'm going to start contacting ESCOs and telling them about Atlas Lighting and the services that we can provide for them.
Right.
Sounds easy enough, doesn't it?
There you go. It's an interesting angle because you're talking to two all distributors here, but I sell really none to ESCO. I don't sell to ESCOs at all. Most of my stuff is end user. Mike's the same way. Well, what is that like? So you have a few connections that say, hey, go in. And I know what it's like, but I want you to explain it so listeners can hear a little bit more about it.
Selling to the ESCO, you mean?
Yeah. Yeah, just like how it's different
Yeah.
in what you do exactly.
Well, I guess what's different about it is that you have to be more construction oriented than you are distributor oriented. Understanding that there's a difference between like direct to user type sales where we came from and selling to someone who's making decisions at a much higher level. And it's really all based on a financial case. It really has nothing. It has something to do with the results have to be there, of course, right? But that's all given. What has to make sense and where the magic happens is trying to make the financial case work. So all of the things that they want, and be able to do that within the confines of their contracts and how they're meeting their expectations of someone like a Noresco or a Siemens or a Trane or a Honeywell, those sorts of folks. Because these are all large construction firms.
Mm.
So when they're sourcing product, not only do they want you to audit it, like what we do, but then there's a whole lot of strings attached that go along with that. But I think the reason that everyone is trying to do it is because the benefits are so great, right? The returns. I don't know what would you say your average sale is,
I would
Greg?
say before we ask that question, the average sale. Um, so are you saying that ESCOs are having problems sourcing replacement equipment for purpose-built LED light fixtures, and they need lighting distributors to help them with that?
No, not so much.
No.
No,
What
they
is it
generally
that
are.
you're what is it that you're offering to them that they can't
Just
find anywhere else?
well, the knowledge of all of the lighting that's available to you and making it fit that particular site or facility or payback
So whether
model
that be
or
like a CFL or a T12 or a TA, like we're talking leftovers of mixed bag buildings where you're like, yeah, you
right,
need 10 of these. That's what you're talking about, and that'll finish up
right.
the washrooms or whatever. It's kind of like that kind
Uh,
of knowledge.
no, it's the entirety of the project. So to be able to walk into a project that might have, say, 30 different municipal buildings of some sort,
Mm,
and in that mix, you've got office type buildings, you've got jails, you've got kitchens, you've got health
mm.
hospitals, all of those things mixed in, and to be able to take all of that, make all the little decisions of what you replace that light with this LED
So
product or that new
you're
fixture.
making those decisions for them?
Yes,
That's amazing. That's exactly what should happen. Yes, I
yeah.
get it. I know what you're doing now. Yeah, that's smart.
But the reason that not everyone is able to do it, there's a lot of reasons, but I think one of the bigger reasons is that you don't just call them up and say, "Hey, I'm a lighting guy, I can help you out,"
Mhm.
and then they respond with, "Oh, great, I'm so glad that you called." That just doesn't happen.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
12 years, and we are just now where we are with them, and you have to earn your stripes. They do not just take a chance because they are very risk adverse companies. They're not going to take risk on anything, so
You know
they would
what's
rather
interesting?
pay more.
You know what's interesting? I stumbled across this model at the nuclear power plants in Ontario. So look, Ontario has I don't know if it's 60% nuclear energy. Like like we have a
Hmm.
lot of nuclear reactors in Ontario. Comparison to the rest of North America, we have a lot here in Ontario. Ontario is like a leader in nuclear power generation. But you go to sell something to a nuclear power plant, and like it has to go through these phases of approval, right?
Right,
And what you're doing with these people is saying, actually, lighting is really complicated now. And so it should probably go through us, and we'll make the decision for you as to how you should repair this light fixture. Whether you're going to do a retrofit, you're going to do a bulb replacement, what kind of socket is in there. You need people that know what the hell is going on, and they're not on your site, so it should be us. Is that what you're saying? It's like something
right.
like that?
Yeah, very much like that. And
That's smart.
to know that our team is dedicated, like a lot of the Nailed members teams are,
Mm,
to making sure that we are experts in our field. We
yes.
go to the training, we go to the shows, we spend the money it takes,
Mm.
and do the research that it takes to ensure that we know what needs to be known about that lighting to help make that intelligent decision for them. Because generally, they don't want a decision that lasts for a year or two. They need a decision that lasts for 5 or 10 years or longer.
Mhm.
We're
Or
working
40
on a
years, or
project right
40
now.
years, or 40 years, like a real
Yeah,
life
yeah,
cycle to a fixture, like a life cycle.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's
We're working on
sustainability.
a project
That's
now that expects
sustainability.
a 20-year life cycle. So every decision that we made had to be carefully calculated to ensure that it lasted the 20-year cycle that they were looking for.
Mm.
So yeah, it's interesting
What if it?
how that works.
Yeah, and what if it doesn't? Like, how do you guarantee a 20-year life cycle on a fixture?
Well, you don't necessarily guarantee it, but you are
Right.
doing everything in your power to make sure you're making the engineering decisions correctly
Well,
when
I'll
you're
tell you how to do
recommending a
it.
product.
I'm going to interrupt Chad. I'll tell you how to do it right now. And Chad, you may completely disagree with me, but I'm right and you're wrong. Greg, this is how you do it.
Let's
You,
just get this straight right
you,
now. Right?
you tell them, look, if you buy an LED T8 light fixture, that can take a tube in it. You can put an LED T8 tube. That same fixture will probably be here 20 or 30 years from now. If you buy something that doesn't have a traditional light bulb shape to it, that you can't replace the bulb
Right.
with that, then the fixture is going to be replaced. That's kind of the way I would look at that. Now, that's how you do that, Greg. That doesn't sound so sexy and exciting to me, Chad, but it's the truth. Do you agree?
No, I would agree with you. There's always exceptions to the rule, but when I used to sell the end users, like the traditional commercial industrial market that would have been in the Minneapolis area or wherever we were, and we were selling that, I was always an advocate for what light fixture should I buy for my office. Well, the one that has the screw-in Edison base or the pin base for the lamps, the fluorescent lamps, because they're always going to have available the traditional lamp shapes and sizes. At that time was when I think the utilities were pushing for a different base for the compact fluorescents so that they could say that socket was essentially locked out of ever kicking back to the old technology, right? So that was something the GU24, I think it was. And that didn't get a whole lot of traction because no one really wanted to risk spending the extra money on a light fixture, knowing that lamp style may not provide them with the choices that they were looking for. And they were pretty smart about that because you go to the shelf now and there's very few of those, but there's an awful lot of Edison-based lamps out there.
I love a good GU24 sale on the counter. Person always has to pay a hell of a lot of money for that light bulb actually in 2022.
Yeah, right, they always cost more too. Yeah.
It's like GU24 LED. That's $22 a bulb actually. Got them on the shelf over there. But if you had the Edison base, it's $2.19 actually. You're absolutely right about
the
that.
Edison base.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, we can get hot about it, but you're right. There's a lot of weird stuff like that out there now. I love it.
So, but there's always the exception. There's hopefully in our sustainability committee for NAILED, where we're talking about why these manufacturers aren't creating a product that we can sell the replacement parts for. Everyone wants to be able to maintain and at least have that choice of maintenance, because I'm a little concerned for is these light fixtures we're putting in now that say they have a 50,000 hour life. So, 10 years into the future or less, what are they going to do with them? Or is all that metal going to end up at a recycler?
Oh, yeah.
Or is it going to have to go through a special recycling situation with the electronics in it?
Brian Huff's committee and Brian Emerson, the sustainability committee, they came up with that letter. That letter was so accurate, 100% dead on. I know where to get rid of a PCB ballast and a fluorescent tube and capture the mercury. I have no idea what to do with stupid plastic LED light fixtures. Is it garbage? Is it haz waste? Is it not haz? What is this? Is it waste electronics?
I can tell you it's going to end up being e-waste.
Yeah.
They'll end up treating it like they do a PC or a computer. Where they're going to have it's going to cost them as much to recycle the thing as it does to the other. So I think there's a real opportunity for the manufacturers out there to start making products that are compatible with the existing bodies, perhaps.
I got something to show you
where they can do that.
I got something to show you. It's going to take a second.
We don't want to see that, Michael. You're showing us the wrong thing.
Just relax. Take it easy, buddy. I'm showing you light fixtures here, okay? So look, I just had Greg come in the office the other day. Okay, under cabinet lights, 2, okay? One's a fluorescent, one's an LED. Same manufacturer. So this is the first version of it. Now they have this one. Okay, you think this one has a ballast on board, it has a fluorescent lamp you can replace. This one's a driver on board with a chip array, right? Whatever. You think they would make it so you just had to unplug this one and plug in this one, but no. The plugs are different.
Same manufacturer.
Same manufacturer. The plugs are different. So you actually have to rip out the wiring when you want to just put a new under cabinet fixture, because these fluorescent bulbs are no longer available because they banned them. Right? Like somebody in their great wisdom said, I'm banning all fluorescent bulbs. Well, now I got to rip out not only do I have to rip out the fixture, I also have to rip out the damn cabinet. Rip it all off the wall.
Is that an F13 T5?
F16 T4.
Oh yeah, I don't know. I don't know that there is a manufacturer with that one.
Yeah, no, but look, all you have to do is make the plugs the same, and everything would be so much easier for everybody. But now, not only do you have to rip out the fixture, you also have to rip out the cabinet above it.
Yep.
That's a disaster. Come on, you know how many fixtures have to go in the garbage because of that? Oh, it's a disaster.
So, Chad, as you're doing a lot of large-scale projects for corporations, companies, whatever it might be, are you finding most of them are doing purpose-built LED?
It depends a lot on the financial case that they allow us, but yeah, almost everything is what we discrete LED fixtures or integrated LED fixtures, purpose-built. Yeah. Now a lot of them are still 2x4 troffers, 2x2 troffers, center baskets or backlit panels. Those backlit panel fixtures are going to be, or they're all throwaway type fixtures. Not that they don't have a purpose. I mean, they got to be probably the most popular fixture out there right now. But I'm somewhat concerned with what's going to happen in the next, after they go through their life cycle. There's no repairing them.
And that's what I wonder from the ESCO sale. Is it? I mean, they count on you for lighting, but they also, what little I've done, they're also involved in saying, but it needs to be this. Well, you just told me to let me tell you what it is, but it needs to be something like this. Is that what you're finding? We need flat panels. Go figure out the best one, or we need a purpose-built high bay or whatever it might be.
They come in all shapes and sizes, but yeah, the people we do the most work for really get what we bring to the table and respect it in a way that they trust us with that decision. And they'll say, give us a couple of options, like. Still the most popular projects that we do are just the lamp retrofit, an LED tube retrofit or that sort of thing. And, we are huge advocates for the type B retrofit. So you get the ballast and things out of there. So we try to change everything to that, but they ask us for different options to consider. Then they present those to their customers, and then they can help make an informed decision. So, a lot of them want to get rid of that old look. They want it to look modern.
Yeah.
That's the problem. Can you put, one of the things, I think the Type B, where they have the live and neutral at one end and the live and the neutral, like the A, where it's like double-ended and single-ended, that's a smart innovation. Like you see those tubes out there where it's both. And
that's what we usually sell.
That's a great innovation.
So they can go either way.
The other thing, like you try to buy, I dare you, I dare you, try to buy a fluorescent 2x4 troffer 4-lamp T8 with no ballast in it, but just the sockets, and like a lens. Out there. No, you can't buy that. Where can you buy that?
You can.
KeystoneTechnologies.com.
Like nothing. No, you're telling me like no ballast inside, just sockets. Well, Keystone doesn't. Keystone, you need a warehouse in Toronto because we need those fixtures ASAP. Like I don't.
You should get Keystone up there. They would help you out. Yeah,
if
they're
you
good.
If you had a frosted lens on it too, it could look like a little bit like a flat panel. You know what I mean? Like an opaque lens.
Another vendor member of Nailed has the plastics that you can replace the old Type 12 plastic prismatic
K12,
lens.
Yeah, the prismatic,
with that new lens that's in the backlit troffers to make it old troffer look new. Put LED lamps behind it, and off you go.
Is it fair to say that being able to maintain something is sustainability? Like that's essentially what it is. Like the longer the life of the light fixture is, the more sustainable it is. The more you can fix it, the better off we are. Wouldn't you say that? I think I would say that.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Huh.
I'm not sure it meets the true definition of sustainable.
There is no definition.
Where,
The sustainable is a changing thing. It changes.
right.
It's
Sustainable
different
definition.
things to everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that Greg says it is that it means different things to different people and in different circles. But sustainable, meaning that you can repair it, I think. I'll give you another example of a very well-named, legendary brand of outdoor lanterns and street lighting type lights. Light fixture is less than 5 years old, and the little LED diode pieces that are obviously parts that they bought and wired together cannot be sourced and cannot be replaced. So they want you to buy the entire unit inside the lantern that has it looks exactly the same from the outside, but the parts are a little bit different. They will not sell you the replacement parts. It just makes no sense to me that there's not a source for that sort of thing. Someone that can help decipher, the milliamps that it should be, the voltage that it should be, like the old ways that we used to do with the light bulbs. They'd bring in a light bulb, they didn't know what in the world it was. We could start looking at the shape and the base size and the voltage, and we could really narrow it down to exactly what it was.
Yeah, and see standards.
Yeah. There should be some sort of markings on these things that can.
Well,
give
I
us
mean,
those
look
clues.
at Jaga. Jaga's trying to make a move into the space. They haven't made any headway, I don't think. Greg, when did we talk to Jaga? 3 years ago? 4 years ago?
Yeah.
I mean, nobody knows anything about Jaga. Like, I love you guys over in Belgium, where the hell you are over there. But first of all, bad name, Jaga. Like ZZA. What are you trying to confuse everybody? How about like lighting standardization, like or something like that? Jaga? Like, huh? Like,
GE when they first came up with I think they still do have their little LED cobs that they sell. They were looking for a way to have a replaceable part. But no one's. I think the technology is moving too quickly, where it hasn't really plateaued yet. Once it plateaus, I think we'll start seeing these parts.
Yeah, we're going to plateau right back to the LED T8 too, right back to where we started. There's not going to be somewhere we stop above. We're going to come back to replaceable components that people can make, and it's this thickness, this size.
I guarantee, and I see if you agree with this, Michael. I think we'll also see. It was in last month's nailed letter. I think newsletter is where I read this. I think we'll also start to see planned obsolescence. All of a sudden, those LED screw-in light bulbs are only going to last 1,000 hours again.
Nothing wrong with a little planned obsolescence, just to set everything straight for a bit. Just set everything straight.
Right.
Straighten it out.
Straighten it out. Like, listen, you guys think because think about it, everybody looks back.
It's what the consumer wants.
No, but hang on a second.
They don't.
Everybody looks back on the lighting scam of the 1920s, where they all agreed that the filaments weren't going to last this long, and this people are going to sell that. But you know what? They ended up sorting out the industry in a way, and over the decades, things changed, and then we started to get competition, and people think, but the industry was under control. Right now, everything is out of control. A group of people in lighting have to grab it, come up with a conspiracy, conspire with one another to get all the money from the light bulbs or something, and say it's going to be like this, though. You know what I'm saying?
You're gonna see these light bulbs continue to get shorter and shorter in life.
Yeah.
So the price keeps coming further and further down, because that's what the consumer wants. And I think it's a true statement. I don't think most consumers, including myself, want to be married to a light bulb for 30 years.
Yeah, agreed.
The screw-in light bulb in your living room, in the recessed light or something there, you're not going to want to be living.
You're
with
talking
that thing
about
forever.
the right to upgrade. Right.
Yeah, the colors are improving. The color rendering, all of those things. Yeah, I like it.
So on that subject, kind of my question, Chad, given your experience again with ESCO stands for Energy Service Company, right? Is there another initial I'm missing? Energy Service Company.
Nope.
Their job is to save energy. So what happens to lighting when you've already saved the energy? Are they still around? What are they promoting now? How are they selling?
You mean the you kind of lost me.
What Greg is saying is their whole value proposition is gone because there's no energy savings left.
Once the energy saved, I'm saying
we're already there. Like once you're into LED T8 tubes, it's like energy services contracting. What are they? Are they the maintenance savings people now? Like what's the new scam? We going Durotest? Right.
No, that industry is really focused on the building itself. So anything that consumes energy is a part of their realm,
Do you think
their
it's going to
world.
get so serious that people are going to look to a 12-watt T8 and say, I want a 10.5 watt T8. I'll even replace the one that's working now to go to 10.5 watts because that extra watt and a half is so great for carbon
Michael,
emissions.
we're already doing that. We
Get
already
outta
do
here.
that. Yeah.
You're
The
a
other thing,
sly son
the
of a gun. That's
expertise
a good
angle,
idea. Yeah.
but the expertise angle is also knowing that you don't need a 50-watt 2x4 light fixture in your hallway.
Mm.
You don't need a 40-watt 2x2 fixture in your closet.
That's a good point.
You know,
Yep.
those are all part of that equation. And
so can I say this?
the
Let me ask you
ESCO
this.
world,
You're saying the knowledge of lighting is more valuable than the components themselves.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're making
There's
a great
plenty
point
of people that think it's just light bulbs, right? But it's not. You know, you can illuminate a building or a whole campus of buildings. Anyone can do that. You can go buy them at Home Depot. You can buy them wherever you want. But to do it for the least amount of watts or cost in terms of electricity, and to do it for the least amount of upfront cost, balanced with how long they're going to last, that's the expertise that our people can bring.
And my people can bring that
balance
too.
of all of that.
My people
That's what I
can bring
mean. Is
that
we
too.
can all bring that.
Yeah.
Everyone
Like
can.
I think
It's
like yeah. I think not only that though, but the reason why you're telling this because there's such a need for it. There's no need to hide this information. It's not a strategic secret. It's the dawning of the new age of lighting. Like the new boom is this knowledge, what you're talking about, and providing whether it's ESCOs or hospitals or how you go to market with it is a different story. But I think you're right. That knowledge of bi-pin T8 socket tombstone style, like someone's got to know what that is, and a lot of people don't actually know. And sometimes I'm shocked at how little people know about lighting that work in lighting, actually.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you go to the counter of your local electrical distributor up in Minneapolis, there's Viking or something like that. Crescent Electric's Gray Bars. You know, I don't want to pick on anyone in particular, but they don't really know lighting, and some of them in that office do, obviously, because they sell a tremendous amount of it. But the average guy across the counter, when someone comes in and says, "I've got this lighting problem, can you help me solve it?"
Sure.
Probably not going to get solved there, at least not in the way that a specialty lighting distributor would.
Yeah, and it's going to be a beep, 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 beep producer once we go through those names that he just said right there, because we love those guys and we thank them that they're not that interested in lighting, and we are, and we can solve these kinds of problems for people, and it's not worth it for them because they got too much other stuff in their heads, and there's a lot of specialized knowledge. So the specialized lighting distributor's back, according to Chad Palmer, Greg Eric. We're back.
We'd like to hear.
More needed than ever, in my opinion.
Yes.
No.
So you know what? And you know what? Here's how Keystone. This is just for you, Keystone. All you lighting peeps that know what you're doing, you got to go to KeystoneTech.com. That's right. KeystoneTech.com. You know what? Apparently, the host of the Get a Grip on Lighting podcast has to go there because he hasn't figured out that they actually have the fixture he's been looking for a long time, Greg Eric.
You've got it that ready.
Michael, you'll have to just call me when you have questions about lighting. So.
You can call Chad. You got it all.
Yeah, for sure. That's KeystoneTech.com. And of course, the National Association of Innovative Lighting Distributors. Look, if you know a lot of stuff about lighting, you're like a lighting dork like we are, you got to join this association because we're moving, we're shaking, we're telling people what's up, and we're more needed than ever, folks. That's right. So, you should get on board and support us and support the movement and what we're trying to do. And Greg, of course, Chad Palmer, thanks for being a guest on the show today. All his social media is going to be linked to the Get a Grip on Lighting website. So you can check him out on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, Energyficient.com, and so on. But you, the listener, all you people out there, that's right, keep this thing rolling. We're coming out hot. It's a new time. Ready to roll. Bye for now.